All right, bet. Let's get started. All right.
All right, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, y'all. It's Project Sando as the interviewer, and we got. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Czarson. Czarson in the
Czarson.
building, man. We here. We live.
That's right. So we're doing a couple questions today.
Yes, sir.
And Czarson is actually gonna kick us off. We formerly know you as Son the God.
Yeah.
You went by that for what, over a year and some change.
Yeah. I did.
As you were making music, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
First project released under Son the God.
Yeah.
A lot of people are calling you Son these days, and
Mm-hmm.
you know. So my first question is, why the name change, and give us like the process behind it.
Yeah. Well, I guess start off on why even did I call myself Son of God?
Mm-hmm.
I think, like when I started making music, I was so excited to to find this art form, and I feel like it more so found me. Like I feel like I did feel powerful making that music. It felt like where I needed to be, where I belonged, you know, like. So I felt like a god making music. I really did, and
Yeah.
it's like it felt like such a gift, and I felt so powerful with it that I wanted to give myself a powerful name. But like, I don't know, it just the vibrato of the name kind of like it left me feeling a little uneasy. Like that to call yourself the god in any sense is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we are all gods of our own world, I feel like, but
Yeah.
like it was just kind of saying it was too big. The name was too big, and as I've continued to make music, I'm realizing that music is so personal. It's so like, it's not that grand, you know. It's not so grand that I am a god that making this art form, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, so I wanted to, you know, go by something that was a little more personal, you know, that was a little bit more grounded. Because as I made music, I learned that the world of making music and the process of making music is very grounded. Like, so. You know, my government name is Carson.
Carson, yeah.
On my mom's side, we're Russian, you know. So I think back to like, you know, Russian royalty, emperors and stuff were called czars. So kind of
With the same spelling as how you have it.
yeah, it's CZAR.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a czar, and I just felt like, you know, I can't be a god, but I could still be a ruler or something, you know, like bring it down just a notch. So Czarson just kind of had a flow to it, and I felt like Son of God was more so what I thought like I would be making music. It was like what I thought being an artist and being in the music industry was. I thought I'd be a god. I thought I'd be like, that was a very optimistic perspective when it came to like how this music shit was gonna go, you know. So
So it kind of spoke into like the future as well.
Yeah.
Like having Son the God was also like you'd become Son the God one day.
Yeah. It was something prophetic is what I was trying for it to be. And Son of God isn't dead, but I feel like it was more character. Because now I know the kind of artist I am and not the kind of artist I thought I was gonna be, you know.
Yeah.
And like I feel like, you know, Son of God was a great character that I embodied for a while, you know, and it was really me. It's me in a lot of ways, but it's just not me in every way. And I think that was the issue. I don't want to perform too much. I do want to make art, but I don't want to perform too much. I feel like with Son of God, it's a big performance. So I wanted to do something that was more authentically who I am. So that's where Czarson comes from.
Czarson, that's what it's gonna be now. Czarson, I like it. It has a
Yeah.
nice ring to it. I was telling you before, it holds weight for sure.
Yeah.
Especially seeing it on paper with how it's spelled and stuff, it holds weight.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
So that kind of gets me into my next question. The next project, I'll let you say the name of it. What's the name of your next project?
Sunny Show.
Sunny Show, right? So obviously that's a play off Son of God, and you know, I know about the album, so I know where a lot of this comes from. But for someone that's a stranger, or just, you know, some, you know, friends back home or anything, let them know what Sunny Show is. Like, what can they expect to hear when they listen to it?
Sunny Show, kind of just even within the name, it's a bright album. It's a bright album. It's very sunny. It's very I'm at the beach. It's a warm album the whole way through, pretty much, and it's just it's kind of like Son of God has now become an alter ego, because this is released under me, but I under Czarson. But Son of God embodies something else. I kind of wanted to separate myself from the story. It's a story-driven album, and like, while in all honesty, it's very personal, like it is about me. I don't want to like confess that up front on the album, like I'm gonna say it's about Son of God. It's not really about me, so. And so from sonically, it's just, you're gonna hear a lot of bright sounds. It's a colorful album. There's a lot to be said on this album. I explore a lot of ideas,
Yeah, you don't want to like give it all away. You want someone to experience the album, but it's safe to say it's a story-driven album.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's definitely, I've heard it all the way through, and it's an experience from top to bottom.
Yeah.
I didn't get this written down, but this is important that we should talk about it. How important was your sequencing? So choosing which song to be number 2 on the track list rather than have it be 5. Like, what made that from 1 through, how many songs is it?
16.
16? Okay, so from 1 through 16, how did you piece it together? How did you know what belonged in the right place?
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, it's super story driven. This is a self-contained story. It's beginning, middle, end. It's a story the whole way through, and it's a story of Son of God. It's a story. I don't want to say it's just gonna be one. Son of God will probably come back a couple times.
Yeah.
But, it's so when I was making the album, it kind of manifested itself into being a story. Like, I knew what the beginning and the end was going to be. That came pretty quick. The middle part, as I made certain songs, like thematically, they just fit in different parts of the album. So like, not to spoil too much about the story, but it is a somewhat of a coming of age. It's like a
hero's journey.
It's
almost?
A hero's journey. It's a hero's journey where it's a journey of self-discovery, essentially. I start off not really knowing much and asking a lot of questions and really being vocal about my confusion. And from there, I go on to explore those ideas I need to explore. Like, one of the primary theme I say that I'm exploring is nostalgia and my issue with it. Like, I don't always get a warm, fuzzy feeling reflecting, like, through nostalgic memories per se. They make me very uncomfortable, but I feel like it is good to be able to reflect and just have a soft spot for that, like I never want to think about my past because it just makes me uncomfortable. It makes me upset, but I would love to, like I'd love to be able to look back on things fondly, and that I was trying to create that fond feeling on this album for the first time for me, like, so as I'm trying to find the fondness and looking back on things, the listener's gonna go and find that too, so yeah.
Sounds like you're opening up quite a bit on this.
Yeah, for sure.
And your change of perspective with nostalgia and stuff.
Exactly.
That's important. We'll get into that later. That kind of has to do with some of my later questions. But something I want to know is, what was the least expected place that you found inspiration? Because you could go for a hike in the morning and you could see something so beautiful and it makes you want to write about how good life is, right? Or you could go through breakup and really make the worst, saddest song of all time, That's how a lot of songs are made. But where did you get inspiration where you're like, dang, I didn't think I would find it here?
That's a good question. The first thing that comes to mind, honestly, is food.
Food?
Yeah.
What you mean?
Like, it's crazy, like, going back to food spots that I went to growing up, like, going to Lucky Boy in Pasadena, going to Roscoe's.
Well, you took me to all the spots.
Yeah.
You took me to all the spots that you said you had when you were younger and stuff.
Yeah. It was it was surreal because, like, the smell, the taste, everything, like, that lasts. You remember those things for a long time, and like I feel like you get a pastrami. I always get a pastrami sandwich there. Like, biting into that pastrami sandwich, taking a bite of that pepper, like, it sent me back.
From Lucky Boys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sent me back, it's like, and I just remember, like, the first time I experienced that piece of nostalgia, even when we went back to New York and we were in the Heights, you know, like spending time there, like, it was really uncomfortable. It was really weird. Like, I did feel a little bit of joy. Like, I did feel happy, you know. I did feel happy kind of thinking back on the past. And that was kind of the first time that's happened, you know. And I wanted to explore that more. And I don't want to say it only came from food. Obviously, it came from just thinking about it. But like,
but that's definitely not expected for sure.
Yeah,
like, people
food,
think some crazy thing has to happen, but
absolutely.
Food, okay,
yeah,
I like it. So, my next question: what distractions did you like really feel yourself having to fight, where it became like you were aware of it, like, oh, I gotta knock this while I'm making this album. So while you're making the whole thing, what like was alarming to you that you were proactively like fighting against?
Making the album, I think I would start songs and it would have a pretty clear, concise concept. It would have a theme off of it, and I'd get halfway through, like I have a verse, a hook, whatever, you know, and I wouldn't want to continue writing because I didn't want to explore that idea anymore. Like, I'm like, oh, it's getting too real. Like, it's getting too, it's hitting a little too hard. And like, and it did challenge me to think about things I wouldn't normally want to think about and explore ideas I wouldn't normally want to explore. And like, it would be times like I would just let a song sit because I'm like, I don't want to think about that right now. But you know, for the sake of myself and for the sake of the art, like, I'm like, let me fully like, if I'm gonna start an idea, I need to fully execute it, fully flesh it out. Or I'm doing it a disservice, you know, I'm doing myself a disservice. So like, that was definitely one. And in general, like, you know, I mean, when you get that fatigue listening to your music so much,
for sure, and stuff, for sure,
and like, and it's just like, you want to get it perfect, and the more you listen to it, like, the worse it can sound to you and your ear, the more you nitpick it.
Yeah, the harder it is to, like, perfect gets further away the more you listen to it.
Exactly. So you kind of get that fatigue, like, dang, I just can't get the song right. It's not sounding exactly how I wanted, but it finally, as I was like, no, we can get it there. Just put in the work. It kind of got rid of that feeling of like, I just don't even want to touch it.
Yeah, and since it's such a long album, did it get easier? Because I mean, did you start with like a crazy deep song that sparked the album, or you know, did you know you were making an album when you made the first song for the album? You know what I mean? Yeah,
I think honestly, because the first song I made for it, which will be the single that's coming out, is Ocean Breeze.
Ocean Breeze. Okay, so then so when you made that and you knew you had it in your mind, you were gonna make the album, did that get easier for you, like having to face it, like, oh, I don't want to dig into this anymore because it's hard, it's uncomfortable, or did it kind of stay like that but you forced yourself through it?
It stayed like that, honestly. It got easier. I'd probably say maybe after 5 songs or so, 5 songs in, I was like, okay, I've already tackled the hardest of it, and now
you jumped in.
Like, if the latter half of the album, again, not to spoil anything, it lightens up. It's not all like, this sucks. You know, like, it's like, you know, we talk about what sucks, but we talk about what we love too.
I also didn't have this written down, but I'm just now thinking about it. The people that you've shared the project to, you've shared it to me because we're both artists. I can give you feedback. You wanna hear my opinion on it and stuff. But you've shared it with a few people. We won't name names or anything. But why did you trust those people that you shared it with? Because there's a few people that have heard it all the way through.
Yeah, there's about like 5. 5 people.
Why do you trust their ears with it?
They were either loved ones or people who I think have great taste. You know, like, you know, the two people I played it for were my parents. You know, and I thought that was really important because obviously, with this album being a reflection of my life leading up to now, you know, as I was younger, I thought it was really important that they heard my perspective and maybe learned certain things about how I was thinking during that time and how I think about that time now. And like, I think they really valued hearing that, and I valued their feedback on it. I really wanted to know what emotions it evoked in them, because they were hearing things maybe they hadn't heard before.
Yeah.
That they hadn't heard in a while. Like, you know.
I mean, and I'm sure the music for you is a way to open up, right? That's what being an artist is being able to be vulnerable. And maybe that's something, like some of the stuff you said on there, you couldn't tell your mom or dad or your family just through conversation, you know? But you feel comfortable doing it through music.
Yeah. And I definitely wanted their impressions to kind of be one of the first impressions I got from hearing that. And as for the other people that have heard it, I just know that they're thorough enjoyers of music.
Yeah.
And they have great taste. They have really, really good taste, like better than mine, you know, and like, so.
Yeah, low key, huh?
So like,
better than both of us. We know some real music listeners for real. Like that's their shit.
Exactly. We're music makers. We listen to music too. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it
twisted, yeah.
But yeah, they are real music listeners. So like I knew the feedback that they had for me, like I'd heed those words, you know, like it had value, it held weight. So yeah.
Okay, well, to switch it up a little, we're talking about the album itself, but I want to talk about the recording process a little bit. I want you to talk about some of the places you've recorded on, some of the equipment you've recorded on, even if it's not this album, just, you know, how you've upgraded and I guess some of your studio experiences and your recording experiences through the making of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, the recording journey has been tumultuous. You know, it's been a journey from where it started. You know, like come a long way for sure. I think, you know, I've been upgrading equipment like within my own personal studio, you know, but on top of that, our boy Seb, man.
Seb, shout out Seb.
Yeah, shout out Scoob.
Yeah, I just talked to him today, actually.
Yeah. That was really my first experience in the studio, like, I mean, outside of our beginning days, you know?
Yeah.
But, and, I mean, that was amazing. Recording with Seb was awesome, man. Like, just, it was so easy to communicate with him. And just always able to execute the ideas we were looking for, you know, just through a little bit of time and experimenting, communication.
Yeah.
It really got it done. Outside of that, I mean, I've done a few studio sessions, just random studios back in Denver.
Yeah. Well, the reason I ask you to talk about it is because I think it's important that people know it's recorded from home.
Oh yeah.
And it sounds great.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's facts. This album, everything I recorded was in my bedroom.
Yeah.
Every single thing I recorded was in my bedroom. That and it felt kind of like the writing was so intimate, the song making process was so intimate. It felt like it would have been hard to do that in front of an engineer and all that stuff. So like,
yes, with certain stuff you want only your ears first.
Yeah. Which
is kind of ironic because you're planning to put it out for everybody to hear.
Yeah.
But it's the making that is intimate.
Because you get into a certain space, you know, recording some of those songs that, like, I don't know if I'm ready for other people to see, you know, like, so.
Yeah.
So it was nice it's just me and the microphone on this album for sure.
You and the mic, yeah, and you can feel it too. It's yeah. Why is it important to be heard at this point in your life? I'm not gonna reveal your age, but you're however many years old.
Yeah.
And about to be however many years old here soon.
Yeah, birthday coming up. Big Aquarius gang.
Yep.
Big Aquarius gang.
Why is it important to be heard for you right now? Like,
is it important? I struggle to say anything that I do is important or of significance. I mean, it's important to me. It was important that I made this album for myself. But as for people, I think it is another chance to garner perspective. I think like it's important because it's another voice. It's another person that has experienced the world. And maybe there's ways that I've experienced this album that the listener has experienced it. Maybe there's ways that, like, I don't know, maybe they'll see a new perspective from this. But I think, honestly, it's important because it's relatable. I think a lot of people deal with the issues I talk about on this album.
Yeah.
And I think its significance lies in its relatability. That there's something you could take away from this that like maybe you thought about but just never knew someone related with you on that.
Yeah, it's your take on something that happens to a lot of people.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I like it.
Yeah.
Obviously you write all your stuff.
Yeah.
You don't have anybody else write. Not even me. You don't come and ask me for a line.
No, I'm stingy about that.
Yeah, 100%. So your art is your art.
Through and through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your words, at least.
Yeah.
Right?
Obviously, yeah. I have producers.
Yeah.
Making these instrumentals. For now.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you want to talk about that?
I mean, a little bit. Been up in my producing game here and there. I'm just playing with it. It's a playground right now, you know, and eventually it'll grow into something more. But I definitely, in my discography, I want to have an album I fully produced for sure.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
How do you balance living a double life? And me and you know what we're talking about, but I'm gonna explain it. Like, you texted me, or you came home the other day from work, and you told me how, you were just loading up fries, you know, at the restaurant.
Yeah.
And something great for your career happened.
Yeah.
Just 20 minutes before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where's the balance in that?
It's honestly, I'm enjoying it right now. Yeah. I'm not gonna enjoy it for long. In fact, I'm getting pretty sick of it as the days go by. But it's like, I just have to remind myself it's grounding, right? Like I'm not a multi-platinum artist yet. I'm not on the radar. I'm not on anyone's radar. You know, like this album will get eyes and ears on me as an artist. I'm pretty confident in that. Yeah. But as for right now, I have barely anything to show for myself, and I'm aware of that. I still need to work, pay my bills. You know, like I'm okay with that. So that's kind of my mindset with that. But it's humbling for sure. It's like it reminds me that I'm not quite there all the way in the door yet. So it's like I use it as fuel mostly. It's like
it's a good reminder to have.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. It's like being at that job gives me the energy to keep going with this, so I don't ever have to be at that job again, for sure.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up, just kind of with the question about the future and the next few years. I mean, me and you both moved to LA.
Yeah.
From Denver together.
Yep.
With big ambition, you know. And most of that ambition has been met with our hard work as well. So where do you think for you in the next few years, like maybe 1 to 2, what do you expect? Not like something that you would love to see, like a goal that maybe you might not get, but you want to shoot for the stars. But what's something that you expect for yourself in the next 2?
In the next 2 years?
Yeah.
I expect to be on a level, like production wise, on a level of a professional artist in 1 to 2 years. Where like, when it comes to the biggest in the game, quality wise, my music's there. I already know my writing ability is there, but I think the production and the mixing and everything, and just what I have access to, will be matched with the ideas that I have, you know. And so, I think in 1 to 2 years, we'll be seeing that. And honestly, in 1 to 2 years, I think I should be on tour with somebody by that point. I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's doable.
Yeah,
it's doable if you keep, you know, making the music that you're making.
Yeah,
the quality music that you're making, and it's definitely doable. It's what you moved out here for.
Yeah,
you know. So you'll work to make it happen. But yeah, I guess I'll leave it open. If there's anything you want to talk about that we didn't touch on about the album or who you are as an artist, I'll let you talk about that.
I think I just really want to stress to anybody that's taking the time to listen to this album, you know, give it one good, honest listen. Whole way through, no breaks. It's a movie. It's a story.
Yeah.
It sets scenes. It builds characters. It's like I put a lot of effort into the storytelling aspect of this album, and I think it's so important that the listeners get the story out of it, you know? And once you do that, listen to it however you want, you know? Listen to it however you want. If you take a couple songs,
that first good,
yeah,
all the way through, thorough listen.
Yeah.
Like,
cover to cover. There's a reason why the album is structured the way it is. It's just so story driven. So like, I think it's just important that, yeah, you digest it that way.
Yeah.
And I thank all the ears that take the time to listen to this album, and I thank everyone who helped me get this album done. And I'm really excited, man. I'm really excited. I mean, you know, this album has been sitting for a little bit,
for a little bit, and it's dropping this month.
And it's dropping this month, so there's a lot of feelings that I'm just filled with feelings right now. Like I feel excited, I feel scared, I'm nervous, I'm just happy it's done, relieved, but yeah, I'm just so excited for people to hear this album, and I think it's gonna capture a lot of hearts, man. I really do. I hope so.
I definitely think so too.
Yeah, and just excited it's a great way to start the year.
Great way to start the year for sure.
And just excited to see what doors that it opens from here. Just
yeah.
Hopeful for the future, always, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it there. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, bet.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate it.
Let's go.